We had 13 clans in the beginning, but once the Europeans came and started taking land, 7 of the clans consumed the other 6. And so we have 7 clans of the Cherokee. Each clan, like the Wolf clan, they become our warriors. The Deer clan, they're hunters. The Bird clan, that's where you get your storytellers, spiritual leaders, and ones who plays music. I serve as a spiritual leader, and I tell stories and I play music. So I didn't want to learn the cane, but after 10 years of falling and knocking the shoulders out and bruising the knees and knocking teeth out, I thought, it's time for me to learn the cane. And it's been a big help ever since. I don't have no center vision. All my vision is from the peripheral. And I find that so odd, but yet fascinating, because the birds, when they talk and sing their songs, they turn their heads to see, because they don't see straight in front of them, they see from the sides. I can't see what you look like, I can just see a shell of somebody there. I've not seen myself since I was 25 years old. When you take the life of an animal and you pray over that animal, thanking its spirit for you're coming out in the open so we could have food put on the table. We don't hunt for trophy, we hunt for survival. And so it's always important to pray over the tree before you cut it. I said, the trees, I said, you ever touch them and just say thank you. Thank you for the shelter, for the warmth, for the oxygen. Thank you for being you. And that's what it's all about. All right. When the tree sacrifices its life, out of the heart of the tree, a flute is made. And when it is handed to you, you hold it as gentle as you would an infant child. You give it the breath of life, and it sings. And your fingers will dance across the notes. I will come out here and I'll play. There's times that the birds will squawk at me when I first started playing, because they weren't used to that sound, that song. But after a while of playing it, they coo and they sing along with it. And that's how it sounds. See, it's not me, it's the flute. My youngest daughter, we had found out when she was 7 months old that she had cystic fibrosis. It's a lung pancreas disease. And so when she was 10, they told us that they didn't know how long she'd have to live, so they wanted to grant her a wish. Her grandfather had cancer and she wanted the cancer to go away. They couldn't do that, so she said she wants her dad's eyes back. She couldn't, they said, no, we can't do that. This is a wish. You want to go anywhere? Or, and she said, I want to make my wish for all my family to go to heaven. And everything that she was wishing for wasn't for her. She was wanting to give it to others. But she ended up going to, we went down to Disney World in Florida. For 10 days, we stayed at the Make-A-Wish Foundation, granted her the wish. We stayed at Give Kids the World, where it was families that had children that wasn't going to make it. So they were all sick children, very ill. And I took a day, and I took my flute and I played for all the little children. Went to their tables and talked to the family and played for the kids. One of them, got so excited, and And his dad was telling me with tears that his son had just got electronic hearing, and the flute was the first music he ever heard. So, it was little stories like that between, different families. One had 3 autistic kids, and I went over and asked if I could play for them. And she said that she would love for me to, but she said, don't feel bad if they don't sit and listen to it. And when I started playing, they all 3 sat down and folded their hands on their laps and sat there. And she started crying because she said she's never had seen her 3 boys sit down at the same time. But it was the flute that done it. I felt that the Creator blessed me with the flute, and I'm just giving the gift back to the children. And for the families, it just helped soothe their hearts. And that was more of a blessing than anything else. To make the flute weep, you just slide your fingers off the notes. And it gives it that sad sound. I don't like playing them that much. I got my name when I was 21 years old. And I was coming from Oklahoma. I had a 78 white Mustang. And I was coming from Oklahoma into Missouri to visit an uncle. And he was in the backyard cleaning out the back of his truck. And I go up there and I put my arms across the truck and I said, well, what are you doing? He said, I'm getting ready to sell my truck. He said, I got to clean all this up. And there was thousands of leaves in there. And I picked up 2 leaves. I said, here, let me help you. And just picked up 2 leaves and threw them out. And he laughed and said, your name is TwoLeaf. That was 36 years ago when that happened, 35 years ago. And I went to try to change it, and the chief wouldn't let me. And my name is TwoLeaf. That's it, period. Boom, 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 boom. When I end a story, because a lot of people are waiting for more of the story, and it's like, no, that's it. That's the story. Just end it with a boom, 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 boom. And they know that's the end. And it was probably 10 o'clock at night, and we were driving down the highway, and there was a deer in the road. So we swerved and missed it and pulled off the road, and we thought it was a little fawn. But when I got out and got closer to it, it was a full-grown doe. And I noticed from her hide that she had been rolled. So I went over there and started talking to her, and she turned and looked at me. And I told her, you must get off the road. I said, you're going to get hit. This is not safe. And she just stood there, and I reached over and touched her, and she never flinched, didn't move. And I said, you must go. Well, when she went to take a walk, I noticed then that her front right leg was broke, completely broken. And she had fell onto the stub part of it and then got herself back up. And I thought, oh. And so I touched her and walked all the way around her. And I reached around her, and I picked her up and stood her up. And she was a head taller than I was. And I turned her around, and she followed me. And we walked side by side. And when we got to the edge of the pavement, there was that little dip, and I had fallen to one knee, never letting her go. And I picked her back up and got her safely on the shoulder. And the police had came and had asked if we were the ones that hit the deer, and I said, no. I said, I just picked her up and walked her off the road. And he said, you grabbed onto her? I said, yes. Stood her up and walked her off the road, and he said, I have never heard of anyone doing that. And they told me they were going to put her down. And my girlfriend at the time, I said, wait until we leave, because she's all upset anyway. And I guess they went back to make the report. And I took a few steps away from her, but then I turned and went back and put my hand on her forehead and said a prayer and said, goodbye, my friend. Didn't look back.